By the end of the 17th century, England recognized the vast mercantile wealth her American colonies offered beyond gold and furs. As a result, the 17th century would end with England seeking to create an American empire of loyal English immigrants, ruled entirely from London. While the European powers of Spain and France explored the New World and established trading posts, built missions, and erected military facilities, their colonists were never true immigrants. They came to the New World with the idea of staying a few years, making a fortune, and then returning to Europe. The English, however, saw opportunities in the New World and traveled to North America to stay permanently. They were not only explorers, but also craftsmen and farmers. They hailed from the educated as well as the working class. But most of all, they brought their families with them, women and children who understood the benefits of creating a new life. In the 17th century, the English immigrants settled along the eastern seaboard, from Massachusetts to South Carolina, partitioning this largely wooded land into colonies that were granted charters by England's kings. The first colony was Virginia in 1607. Settlers under Captain John Smith founded Jamestown, and for more than a decade, Virginia was the only safe landfall for English immigrants in the New World. Then in a period of 20 years, 5 more colonies followed as a great migration of people left England. In 1620, a group of Puritans founded a colony at Plymouth Rock, south of Boston. 10 years later, the Massachusetts Bay Colony was granted a charter by Charles I. In 1632, Lord Baltimore was given a proprietary charter for 10 million acres on Chesapeake Bay and named his colony Maryland. Founded in 1636, Rhode Island and Connecticut were granted royal charters in 1644 and 1663, respectively. In the second half of the 17th century, a second wave of immigrants came from England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and Northern Europe. Originally known as New Netherlands, New York was captured from the Dutch in 1664 and rechristened New York in 1675. It became a royal colony in 1685. At the same time, New Jersey split from New York to become its own colony. In 1663, Carolina was founded. 66 years later, 2 distinctive regions, North and South Carolina, were carved out of the original grant. In 1679, colonists in western Massachusetts persuaded Charles II to make New Hampshire a separate royal colony. Finally, in 1681, William Penn established the colony of Pennsylvania as a holy experiment to create God's heaven on earth. A year later, the Duke of York sold William Penn Delaware, a colony originally settled by Sweden in 1636. Delaware would separate from Pennsylvania in 1701. 135 years after the founding of the first Spanish colony at St. Augustine, Florida in 1565, England's American colonies had reached the level of self-sufficiency that would enable them to join the battle with England to win control of the North American continent from France and Spain. In fact, this self-sufficiency would eventually lead the American colonies to fight the Revolutionary War and win their independence from England in 1783.